Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. So happy you're joining me today. I am a medium, and as a medium, I connect in with our loved ones on the other side, and I'm also a certified life coach. And as a life coach, I help people handle their problems and create a better life. Today's coaching tip is on loving your life. I heard a great statement by Gloria Vanderbilt, and she was saying she thought the best approach to life was to always be in love. She said, yes, being in love with a person is the best, but she said you can also be in love with a flower, an experience, a beautiful day. Just be in love. What she's saying is to love your life, love all parts of it. People can't love their lives if they don't love themselves. If someone is always judging themselves as not being good enough, they're not showing love to themselves. They may criticize how they look, what they're thinking, who they are. It seems that everyone has at least one area in life where they judge themselves. We want to fit into society. We want to be looked upon in a positive way. Thinking we are less than good enough, we change ourselves to meet other people's expectations. We want to please them. Ironically, we judge ourselves because we feel others might be judging us. If we loved ourselves fully, accepting who we are, we wouldn't have this need to feel that we have to change ourselves in order to fit in. We wouldn't have this need to be concerned with the possibility that other people may be judging us. Not loving ourselves makes it much harder to love the external things in our lives, like a flower or a beautiful day or an experience or even another person. Many people judge their bodies. We look at ourselves and we're not good enough. We want to lose weight. We want to look different. A whole bunch of people get plastic surgery. We live in a society that values beauty, but that value is very subjective and is based on some kind of weird, unrealistic goal of perfection. But who is it that decides what this beauty is? What is beauty, and who tells us that we are not or we are beautiful? And really, it's us. We tell ourselves. It's not the people around us or some kind of weird societal expectation. When I was walking, toddling would be a better word, on the floor, and I put my hand up on the table to steady myself. On the edge of the table was a teacup in a saucer, and unfortunately, my hand caught that saucer, and this teacup full of hot tea spilled over the table on top of my head, my neck, my upper chest, and my arms. So I have scars on my neck and my chest and my arm. These scars have never bothered me, and obviously I've had them for a long time. I've had people ask me about them over the years, and I tell them the story, but I've never felt badly about them because they're a part of me. I could have obsessed over them and making them a flaw and wishing they were different or not there, but it's part of my story. It's part of who I am, and I love my story because it comes from the experiences I've had throughout my life, and those stories, those experiences have made me who I am today. So these scars, while some might say they're a flaw, to me, I just love them. We all have what could be perceived as flaws. We could have scars that mar our physical bodies, or we could have an oddly shaped nose and we think that's a flaw. We could have scars of past hurts or limitations that have been imposed on us. We could have scars of feeling like a failure or injustices that we've experienced. When we hold on to these negative perceptions of these perceived scars or flaws, we don't love and accept ourselves as we are. Your flaws are not flaws. These things that you think are flaws are a part of what makes you who you are today, what makes you different from everyone else. Whatever you judge about yourself, make the decision to move into loving yourself, accepting who you are. I have a friend who had a very rough childhood with lots of abuse in all sorts of different ways. She struggled, of course, to get through it as she was growing up, and she wanted to move on, and she did. She is now one of the happiest people I have ever met. Rather than accepting the idea that she was worthless or deserving of this abuse, moving into some kind of self-sabotage that she needed to create more of that, she consciously chose to love herself. She chose to put the past behind her and move on. This is huge. She could have used it as an excuse as to why she can't do something, or an excuse as to why she can't be someone that she wants to be. But instead, she learned from the situation. She decided she was worthy of love, and she made decisions that valued herself. Now, she also wanted to go to college, and her parents told her she wasn't smart enough and that she shouldn't go. But she did. She went to college and ended up having an amazing career where she helped other people. She learned to listen to herself, her wants, her needs, what her inner self was saying to her, and follow that guidance that was coming from her inner self. And she learned how to treat herself with love. By making that choice, she moved into her true self, and she created a wonderful life. The first step to loving yourself is to decide to honor and respect and love yourself. You have to decide. You have to make the choice. And then you need to listen to yourself and make those choices that reflect your opinions, who you really are, who you want to be. And these are opinions from your opinion. Nothing based on other people, what you think other people believe you should do, not what other people have told you to do. It's only your opinion. Your opinion is the only one that matters. When you reconnect to yourself, reconnect to who you truly are, you'll be moving into loving and accepting yourself. One of my clients is working through the end of a relationship. Her partner was basically using her to his advantage and wasn't showing her any kindness, consideration, respect, love, all of those things. He just wasn't. And as we were talking about this, she had a really awesome insight, because then she said that she realized she deserved much more than what she was getting. And then she said that self-love was the key. She decided it was time to show her self-love, and she spoke up and basically said, I don't want to see you. We need to take care of this problem. And she wanted to stand up for herself, speak her truth, stand in her power. And by speaking up and saying what she needed to say, she kind of reclaimed herself, and she was showing herself respect and love. Sometimes we think that self-love is selfish, but it's not, because when you truly decide to honor yourself, respect yourself, you do reclaim your power. You go back into being who you really are. Then you'll be making choices that are kinder to yourself, that are more loving, more respectful. And when you start treating yourself with more love, you'll be able to attract more people who will also come into your life, and you'll be able to connect with people with more love. So if you catch yourself judging your body or who you are or your actions or what you think, make a conscious choice to change your thoughts. Maybe you'll want to use some affirmations, positive thoughts to kind of guide your day. Maybe you'll want to take some negative statements that your inner critical voice says about you. Maybe you'll want to take those statements and replace them with positive statements instead, those things that will empower you. Just become aware of the ways you don't love yourself. You'll notice them if you're paying attention. You'll be able to see it. The things you say about yourself that are negative, how you put yourself down. You might be sitting there doing nothing in particular, and all of a sudden you're in a bad mood and you feel badly, and it's just because some kind of a thought popped into your head. So make a choice to become aware of what's happening in your head so you can change them. And once you've noticed things, then you can make the changes. It's really one step at a time. You're not going to instantaneously change your life and become the most self-loving person in the world. But if you start with one small step, you can get there. When you love and honor yourself, you'll end up loving your life. You'll find the positives in your life. Your life will be much more positive in all aspects. You'll be in love with everything. And it all starts with loving yourself. Love, honor, respect yourself. And then you'll be creating your happiest life. And that is my coaching tip of the day. And I know most of you, if not all of you, have at least one area in your life where you criticize yourself or you judge yourself as not being good enough. And if you know what area it is, just make a choice to make one change to deal with that. And you will be surprised at how quickly your life changes. That's my coaching tip of the day. You can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com, as well as on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, medium and intuitive life coach. Now we are going to go to our first caller, who is Stacy from Tennessee. Stacy, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. How can I help you?
I don't know if I should go more towards reaching out to a lost loved one or just whatever you feel.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do then. Since you're not really sure, I'm going to go to a loved one on the other side, and then we'll see where we end up, because frequently they want to talk about what's happening in your life. I do have a gentleman who's stepping in here, and as he's stepping in, he does feel very fatherly, grandfatherly. I feel like I want to, before I get into that, I feel like I've got something going on in my chest area. I know it's quite common that people have heart attacks, but I'm feeling something in the heart with him. He does feel a bit on the older side before he passes. Do you have a man like that on the other older side who has some kind of a heart issue, father, grandfather?
I'm trying to think. My father's still alive. My grandfather, he passed, but it wasn't his heart. My grandmother, it was her heart.
Okay, no, this is definitely a guy. So I'm just going to keep going with him because he could still be connected somehow. Because the way he comes in, it is interesting. Not just your own family, it can also be connected to spouses, families, and things like that too. So I did want to make sure I mentioned that too. Even exes. So that's always a surprise for people. But yeah, great, huh? So it's really interesting because when he comes in, he's a little bit of a grump. He's a little bit of somebody who is not always the friendliest person in the world, but it's just the way he is. It's nothing really that people need to take personally. It's just the way he is. It's the way he comes across.
My grandpa was just like that.
Well, who was that? Your grandfather?
Like yeah.
Okay. So he could have had a heart issue. Maybe we didn't know. So who knows? But whatever. It's interesting because he's definitely on the gruffer side, shall we say. And what I want to talk about with him, number one, he's actually kind of surprised he can do this, communicate through this way. But also, I want to talk about finances. He wants to talk about finances. And it seems to me that when he was here, he was quite tight with his money. Do you know if he was?
I don't really know.
Okay, because he's giving me the impression he's quite tight with it, because I don't feel like he wastes his money. I don't feel like he's off buying the best of the best. I feel like he's got it hidden away. He's got some stashed here, some stashed there. I feel like he gets what he needs.
Like that.
Okay, he gets what he needs, but he doesn't overdo. The thing is, even though he comes across as gruff, he's actually not mean or anything like that. He actually is a softie inside, and is actually quite sensitive. So there's some, he picks up like on other people's energies, and sometimes it feels like he doesn't know how to express himself. So rather than telling people how much he loves them, he kind of keeps it inside. So he's not a big talker in that way. And the way he's coming, and the way he's coming through is, number one, he does want to tell you how much he loves you and the people who are still here. There is a bit of an apology coming through that he didn't tell people these things before, but it's just the way he is. So we understand that. Okay, here's an interesting random thing. Would you happen to understand in a cemetery somewhere, and I don't know if it's close to where somebody is buried or something, but what I'm seeing is a broken tombstone. Okay, so a broken tombstone. Have you seen anything like that you can recall?
I don't know. I don't know where he's even buried, to be honest.
Okay. That's okay. It's very interesting. I love to bring in the random things because they're different and we usually don't know the answers. So what I'm seeing is it's an older tombstone, okay? So it's not a newer one because those are much thicker. This one is older and it looks like, the kind that somebody might do an etching on. Are you near any kind of old cemeteries or anything?
Not where I'm at currently, no. Not that I know of, rather.
Okay. So just remember I said that because it may make sense later and it's definitely odd. So there may be something to it. Part of sometimes when we get things like that, it's just to kind of show that they know what's going on here. So you may experience something like that and then you'll go, oh, that's so weird. So I do want to talk about that. Now I have to back up though, because he wants to talk about your finances. Have you recently had some kind of an expense that you didn't expect?
I have fallen on the worst times ever.
Okay. Because this is what it feels like to me. It's like there's an expense that came in that you just didn't expect, and it's a problem because it feels like more than a few $100s to me. Okay. And it's very interesting because he tells me you're not a spendthrift either. You don't waste your money either. He tells me that you've been quite good about setting money aside and all of that, but it seems like you can't catch up. You think you're going to catch up and then something else happens and it's just one thing after another. Did you have a washing machine break or something?
No, I've got a car issue right now.
Yeah, okay. Well, the washing machine feels interesting to me, and if you have one, I don't want to make it happen. So since it's feeling weird,
it's been over a year ago.
Okay, so it's been a while. Okay, because I was just going to say, check it out and just make sure, if there's something you can do to stop it. But it's that kind of thing, where you have a big thing that you need or you really want to have, and then the money just goes away before it gets there. Now, there's also the feeling, because he does acknowledge that you're very good with your money, that you're not wasting your money. Okay, and he actually tells me you're not much of one for eating out and things like that either. So you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And interestingly, he's showing me saving coins. Do you have a jar or something you're putting your coins in?
I have old coins.
Okay.
My dad, actually, his son, used to give me as a child on my birthday.
Oh, how cool is that? That's so cool. Because I want to be saving coins. So keep doing that, of course. And if you have more of those that you happen to come across that kind of speak to you, save those as well. And I understand you don't want to get rid of them, so don't. So we want to make sure of that too. There's so much love coming in right now. And the way he's talking about this finance stuff for you, he's saying just keep going. Just keep going. Don't get too stuck worrying about what's happening or how it doesn't seem like you ever get caught up. He says, just keep going and that it will work out. Okay. So it's going to take a little bit of time. We're in July now. Actually, it doesn't feel like that long to me. So we'll see. Predictions, you just never know. But it feels like 4 or 5 months to me. And then things seem to settle in really well. And actually, you get a little bit nervous about it because you're thinking, what's going to go wrong now? So if you start feeling that way, just say to yourself, it's going to be fine. I trust it's going to work out just fine. So that feels okay to me. Do you need new tires on that car as well?
I need a whole new car.
Okay, because the tires, what he's showing me is really bald, and that makes me a little bit nervous. So just keep working towards it because I see things improving. What is that? Would that be like November or something? In that area, things have settled in by then, which means they're going to start improving before then. Okay. Okay. So Stacy, it was so nice talking to you today. You have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. And that was Stacy from Tennessee. And now we're going to move on to Tina from Washington, Vancouver, Washington. Tina, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. You sound pretty good. How can I help you today?
Thank you.
So what would you like to talk about?
My dad passed away not very long ago. And I just want to know, I wake up in the middle of the night just crying, and it's I just think it's the first thing that comes to my mind is my dad. And I don't know if he's just checking in on me or is he okay? Am I on the right road in life? I feel sort of lost and stuck. And can you shed any light or help me in any way?
Any of those, the big questions in life.
Any of those.
It's interesting because as soon as I feel it touch into your energy, okay, the first thing I feel, and it's really nice because you have such a good energy about you. You have the energy of somebody who's there for other people. You have the energy of somebody who's very sensitive and feels. And I know, and I can tell just by how you sound and your energy that comes through the lines here, that you're a person who truly cares about other people. And I feel like your father was very similar. Was your father one of these awesome, caring people like you?
Yes, he was.
Because that's what it feels like. I call this, I mentioned this in another reading someplace about a gentle man coming in. And I mean that in both ways, a gentle man and a gentleman. I want both ways with him. And was he sick before he passes? Because I get some weird body things going on.
Yes, he was very sick.
Okay. Yeah, I get some odd things happening here. And my body it gives me the nausea feel and all of that stuff. That usually tells me somebody was sick. And the thing is, I feel with him, he's so much more concerned about how everybody else is doing than he is concerned about himself. He's not really as concerned about himself. And he gives me the impression that you were, I don't know what it is. I feel such a support coming from you towards him. So I feel you checking in with him quite regularly, making sure he's okay, asking him questions, reassuring him, all of those things. And he's thanking you for all of that because, really the most important thing in his life was his family. Okay. So, you're very important to him. And he, of course, would want to be checking in with you here while he's on the other side. And he'd still want to check in with you here and make sure everything's okay. And it's interesting because you may be picking up, not necessarily that he said, you may wake up with the sadness, but he's not sad on the other side. It's the feeling of there's this sense of peace and this sense of being able to pay attention and look over you, so to speak. And so you may just be waking up and that grief is still coming up, because you still miss him, I mean, he's your father. It's important. Right. So you may just be doing that and experiencing that. At nighttime, as that's our worst time when we get worried or sad. Something. And he tells me that you're so good with people, and which makes me want to ask you, do you work with people now? Are you in healthcare, education, something where you're with people all the time?
No, but yes, I'm around lots of people all the time at work, and I have lots of friends. And so, yeah, my heart is actually helping the needy, but that's not where I'm presently employed at this time, though.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes our purpose in life is not our career choice. It's not that part. Sometimes what gives our lives meanings are the things that we do outside of our career. We may enjoy our career and our jobs, but, if you like to help the needy, that's what would help you, and make you feel more fulfilled. Because the way he shows you to me is the kind of person who makes a difference with other people and how important it is, not only to you, but to them, of course, because it does make you feel fulfilled, really is the word. And do you also, when you're helping, and do you also organize things? Because I want to be organizing something like a food drive or something like this, a clothing drive. Do you organize anything like that?
I used to. That's still very much in practice today.
Okay, because I want to talk about those things because he says you're actually really good at organization, that you have amazing organization skills, that you can figure out the problems and the potential problems ahead of time so that things tend to go more smoothly. And he actually shows you to me as being somebody who's in charge of these things. So you have people that are helping you. Okay, you're like the boss lady. So you have people helping you.
I used to be the executive director, yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So he's so proud of you because for him, as you know, it's important that we be responsible here. We make a difference here. We do the things that are important. We help our community. We help people around us, whether it's just by being friendly in the store or if it's something bigger like what you've done. And those things are important. So he's so proud of you with that. He says you do have some questions. I only have a couple of minutes, but I'm going to just see if I can touch in for a second. But he says that you do have some questions about which direction to go in, because you're questioning, do I still want to do this? Do I not want to do this? And I'm talking about other things, not the fun, needy part. And it's the question of, do I want to move in this direction or not? And he says not to think about it so much that your head starts to spin on it. He says, just kind of go with it, see what comes up. Because your inner being, your inner self, whatever you want to call that, knows what is right for you. I have to say, I do feel a little bit of a change here in moving or something. I don't know if you're changing jobs or if you're actually moving to a new place that you're going to live in. But I feel a change here, okay? I don't know what that means. So we'll see. But there seems to be a change, and I want to talk about moving. So we'll see. The thing is, there's an opportunity here that's going to be coming into you. So just keep your eye out if you haven't seen it yet, because it's coming. And actually, that feels soon. Like I want to say September. So we'll see. Predictions, whatever. We don't really know. But there you go. That's what I'm feeling. So you're in a good place right now for that. He sends you so much love, so much love. And the next time you wake up in the night, just tell him how much you love him. And I would expect immediately you will feel better. And I bet you feel some love coming back at you. So just remember that. Okay, so I'll have to let you go. But Tina, it was so nice talking to you and your father. You have a wonderful night.
It was a pleasure. Blessings to you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. And that was Tina from Washington. Thank you so much for watching and listening today. And remember, if you start judging yourself, love yourself instead. You can connect with me at psychicmediumcolleen.com, as well as on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, medium and intuitive life coach. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Goodbye.